Hi, I've been nominated to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. What that means is that unless I carry it out within 48 hours, I have to pay a fine to the ALS Association. And if I do it, I have to donate some money to the ALS Association. So it's win-win for the ALS Association. Fortunately, 48 hours is a reasonable amount of time to make some decisions about pouring cold water, which sounds uncomfortable, which is why I decided to do it here in the comfort of our front room, rather than outside, which looks a bit miserable today. The problem is that people have got a limited amount of money to donate to charity. The charities all know this, and so they devise attractive and innovative ways to try and encourage people to divert money that they're going to give to charity away from their usual charitable causes into the one that they want them to donate to. So it's not new money, it's just diverted money, usually. So, reflecting on whether the ALS Association should receive the money that I'd normally give elsewhere, I've looked them up. And undoubtedly, a cure for ALS is a worthwhile cause. There's no doubt about that. But it might not be mine or the world's priority at this moment. If you look at the figures, ALS, or motor neurone disease, affects about 5,000 people in the United Kingdom annually and about 30,000 people in the United States. That's a lot of people. Heart disease, on the other hand, kills 73,000 people every year in the UK and about 1 million in the United States. Other people might think that the health crises that are emerging in African countries at the moment, or the world's biggest ever refugee crisis in Syria, might be something that they might prefer to divert their money towards. But put that aside, I've been challenged to donate money to the ALS Association. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put the same percentage of water in this bucket as the ALS Association is invested in new cures for ALS since it started in 1985. So, from its tax returns last year, the association made $24 million. That's a lot of money, and it's been considerably boosted by the Ice Bucket Challenge. So where does that money go? Well, obviously they've got to pay the staff. According to last year's tax returns, their CEO's salary is more than $339,000 a year. That's about £205,000, which is about double what the CEO of Oxfam, of British Heart Foundation, of the NSPCC receive as an annual salary. And I think they're slightly bigger organisations than the ALS, by the way. In fact, when you dig around in the tax return and look at what the ALS Association paid their staff and associated workers, the total sum out of that 24 million is 12.5 million. So that means that for every pound, 54p, or 54% of their money, has gone on salaries and associated workers. So that's not going in the bucket. Of course, if you're a charity, you've got to fundraise. Nobody complains about that. So out of their 24 million, the ALS Association spent $3.6 million on fundraising. That's 15%. So that's not going in the bucket. There's still a reasonable amount left. 6.2 million, which is the biggest chunk remaining, was spent by them mainly on, and this is what they say in their return, grants to government and other organisations in the United States, which turns out to be medical schools that have very strong ties to the pharmaceutical industry. Now, I'm not that keen on that sort of thing. It's not really original research. It's funding pharmaceutical industries, medical schools. So I'm not going to give that 27%, I'm not going to put that 27% of water in the bucket, which doesn't leave a huge amount now to go in there. About 4%. That'll be to about there in the bucket probably, maybe that mark there. So what have we got left? Oh, wait a minute. Out of that 24 million, there's another $1 million spent on lobbying. That's 4%. All gone. So, given that the ALS Association, in its media and publicity, says that it leads the way in research, how much exactly have they invested in new cures for ALS? How much water has to go in that bucket? Well, what do you know? Since 1985, it looks like they've not invested anything at all in new cures for ALS. So my challenge to you is, if you are going to give to charity, which I would really like you to do, just do a bit of research first. And never forget the words of the liberation theologist Helder Camara, when he said, "When I give food to the poor, they call me a saint. When I ask why they're poor, they call me a communist."